Today I'm heading to Austin, Texas. So here I'm at the airport. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning, so I'm just about to get on my plane. I'm really excited about heading to Texas. The last time I was in Texas was about 6, 7 years ago. Spent a lot of time in San Antonio, and I did visit Austin once. So here I am, getting on the plane. I'm just basically, it's a quick visit to Texas. It's work related, so it's November 6th. I'm gonna fly in today and then fly back tomorrow. So here I'm already close to Austin. So we're seeing the Colorado River. We're getting a good bird's eye view of the of the river, and we're getting into gonna start seeing the skyline of Austin. So here we go. Here's a good view of the river. I'm just surprised how big this river is. Apparently there's a lot of water activity in Austin. So here we are getting close to the airport, Austin International Airport. What I think, kind of my observations of Austin, is it's pretty flat. It looks like it's a pretty flat city. And then when I also witnessed that when I was driving around, I'll be checking out a couple of motorbikes. I'll give you at the end. I'll give you my compare and contrast of Austin from a motorcycle perspective to California. So here we're starting to see the downtown Austin skyline, and then we get almost land in the airport. Here's another view of the Colorado River, and as you can see, it's pretty flat here. That's what I noticed driving around and seeing a couple of motorcycles. It's a pretty flat compared to California. But hey, I don't mind flat as long as there are trees, and it seems like a pretty green city here. There are a lot of trees, to my surprise, a lot of green trees in Austin. So here we're almost touching down. So heading into the landing here, almost at the airport. I'm just basically really excited to be in Texas. I think Texas for me reminds me of Australia. I see a lot of similarities between Texas and Australia. So here's the the tower, right? The Austin main tower. So I get out of the airport and I start immediately seeing quite a bit of artwork, very reminiscent of San Francisco. So anyway, just before heading into my meeting, I wanted to grab some lunch. So I didn't want to eat anything at the airport, so I grabbed some Mexican food. I know Texas has some of the best Mexican Tex-Mex food, and here I am just grabbing some Mexican food just before heading into my meeting. Today I'm going to be, so here's a hot salsa bar. A fresh salsa bar, actually. A lot of good food here, man. It was just really good. So anyway, before I head into the meeting, I see a couple of bikes. I spot a couple of, here's a Kawasaki. So here's a Kawasaki. The first bike I see is a Kawasaki. Then I see a Honda NC700X. Then I see a Kawasaki ZX6R. This I think is ZX6R. So these are the first bikes I actually saw just right in my office building. So apparently we have a couple of riders in my office. So here's another view of the Kawasaki, it's kind of a dual sport, this one. So anyway, so here, so I've done my meeting, so I'm heading out to dinner. So I wanted to get some barbecue, so basically I was really going to go and check out Rudy's, but then I spotted this Poke Joe's barbecue in Texas. So this kind of caught my attention, so I just hung out here. Here's a view of the place. It's got some really good barbecue food. I really enjoyed it. So this is what I had. Just great tucker, mate. Just really good tucker. It was a good relaxing evening. I spent it was the Monday at work. We spent a couple of hours. So here's Mr. Chief, right at the doorsteps. So before having dinner, before closing out on my Monday, I had a really good session with the team. We met, we debriefed, we did a presentation, because the next day we're going to go and present to the client, one of our key clients in Texas. I'm not going to name the client. So anyway, I'm almost heading out of the barbecue joint here, and then so I wake up anyway. So it's day 2 in Texas. Austin. I had a really good night's sleep, so I'm looking outside the hotel window. I'm hanging out at the Hilton Garden Inn, and had a really good night's sleep. Even though it's right next to the freeway, I slept really tight. So I'm gonna go grab some breakfast right now. Had some quick breakfast downstairs. Really good buffet breakfast. Really good fruits. Really nice fruit yogurt, potatoes, eggs. It was really good, man. So had a nice breakfast. Did some planning of the meeting. Just chilled out. Had my coffee. Had my tea. Nice relaxing breakfast. And then I'm at the client. So here's the client. I'll let you guys guess. I'm not going to name the client. You guys can just figure out who my client was, and we did a 2-hour presentation to the client. Had a really good dialogue with us, with the client. So anyway, I'm done with the presentation. Then I'm heading back to the airport now. It's like a Tuesday afternoon, so the morning presentation went really well. And I'm in Austin Airport right now. Before I get back on my United plane, I grab some lunch again, grab a bite at the Austin Airport, grab a nice sandwich. The thing I really noticed about Austin is, man, the food is so cheap compared to California. It's a really cheap food in Austin, and it's a really good quality and much cheaper, almost half price, half the cost of California. So here I'm flying back to California. I had a really good, successful day in Austin with the client, and met my team, met some really sharp people. What I really enjoyed about the client was they had some, we worked with a couple of their executives, and it was a good dialogue. We had a really good idea exchange. So I'll be heading back to Austin again in the future. But so here I am, just getting some views of kind of heading back in California. Some really good views of really rocky terrain. Now it's getting close to the Bay Area here, I believe. Okay, yeah, so we're in over the Bay Area here. We see the Mount Diablo there in the background. That's Mount Diablo flying in. So I'm just kind of comparing. I'm reflecting on my trip. Riding in California riding and Austin riding, and I feel kind of. I don't know how successful of a rider I'd be in Texas, because you can't lane split there, and I'm so used to lane splitting, and the last thing I want to do is kind of start lane splitting in Austin, Texas, and in general, and then piss someone off, and then that's so it'll be kind of hard for me to kind of adjust. But I guess I could adjust over time. I'm just used to lane splitting in California, so. That's what I noticed, and then I noticed kind of the roads were really flat in Austin, and I didn't see many Harley bikes in Austin. I see a lot of kind of sports bike in the city, but I guess if I head out on the weekend, I'll see a lot of Harley bikes. So anyway, here we're over the Bay Area. This is Fremont. I think this is Fremont. Then we're getting over the bay. So and that's one thing about the Bay Area. There's a lot of water here, so this is why they call it the Bay Area. This bay is so damn big. A lot of water here in California. A lot of hills. A lot of kind of hilly terrain. So we're flying over the bay. Here's the San Mateo Bridge. This bridge is like almost. If you fly into the Bay Area, San Francisco, you're going to take this flight path, and this bridge is like almost. This bay is almost 15 miles across. This bridge is almost 15 miles across. It's just an epic bridge. So you get a good view of the whole bay, north to south. This is about 60 miles. From San Francisco down San Jose. So anyway, here I'm just reflecting on my trip. I really had a good time in Austin. So here's the San Mateo Bridge again. I really had a good time in Austin. But I'm just happy to be back here in California as well. I do definitely notice a big kind of cost difference in terms of prices, food-wise, and then I also started exploring kind of real estate in Austin as well. And the houses in Austin is right now very kind of cheap compared to California. Very good buys. You get good value there. So I don't know how long that's going to last, because a lot of the high-tech companies are moving into Austin. So anyway, I'm just reflecting. I just was fortunate enough to have a chance to visit Texas, Austin. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I love the food. I love the culture there. It's kind of the whole Austin keep it weird, right? So it's kind of similar to kind of the weird kind of areas that we have in San Francisco and Berkeley here in California. So a lot of similarities. So here I'm kind of almost touching down. It was it was just fun to kind of get out and about, doing a quick adventure for 2 days. Get out of the Bay Area and experience something different. Hang out with some of my colleagues and meet some new clients, executive members from the client. It was just really fun. I had a good time. So here kind of touchdown is successful. Happy to be back, and I'm just grabbing some lunch, grabbing some dinner before I head back home. I like this Boudin sandwich place in San Francisco in the airport. I always grab this Boudin sandwich. It's kind of this vegetarian healthy sandwich is like really good, man. It's really good. So I enjoyed this. I grabbed it on the way back. So now I'm just get out of the airport and I just get on the BART back into the city. It's the easiest way to get into downtown San Francisco from the airport. So yeah, man. So I'm just gonna check out here. I just want to get this. This is my quick adventure. Next time in Oslo, I'm gonna do definitely more some writing.